With technology where it is today, we can actually see inside the household. So we can understand the social media accounts attributed to that household. We can tell that there's a plethora of data, as you know, through PII and being able to understand people's affiliations and their likes. Better yet, with CTV today, you can deliver an ad to someone streaming their favorite show and then retarget them on an OTT device to reinforce the very thing that they've just seen.
Welcome to the Strategy with Jason podcast. Tune in for everything you need to know regarding the automotive industry. Here's your host, Jason Harris.
Hey, what's going on, Podcast Nation? It is Jason Harris here, and thank you for joining me on another episode of The Drive. I'm here in beautiful Newport Beach, California. Thank you, Evolution Media Group, for having me come out and do this. I get the opportunity to talk to the one, the only, the oh-so-famous Mr. Jeff Clark. Jeff, what's up, bud?
What's going on?
Did you like that intro? Was that okay?
I did like that. I'm wondering where is this guy? I got to meet this guy.
Who is this?
Who is this guy?
Hey, man, I'm super excited to really kind of get into your session today at the event and also talk about Dealer Alchemist and just what you guys are doing. It's really cool stuff. But I like to kick off these podcasts with a little origin story, Jeff, because I'm just overly fascinated myself, because no one just wakes up one day and goes, yeah, I'm going to commit my life to the automotive industry. So let's start there. How did you get started in this crazy little world we call the automotive industry?
So that's a very long story, but I'll give you the Cliff Notes version. So I actually grew up in the industry. I come from a family of engineers and UAW workers. So my father and several family members worked at Corvette back in the day when Corvette was still based in St. Louis. So I grew up with a love of cars, especially the Corvette. And after college, I found myself working in marketing for Coca-Cola, had a successful run at that, and started studying process engineering and business process engineering. And I was able to tap into the retail automotive experience and started working in third-party leads. If you go back to the day of the late 90s when we used to fax leads to dealerships. And
I remember the salesperson getting those things.
Yep. And I was very fortunate. I give all the credit to the good Lord above and to my family, and to a little bit of hard work in there, but was able to build some fairly successful businesses on the lead side. And a stint as a VP at Dealer.com. I spent almost 10 years as the Chief Revenue Officer with Dealer On, another extremely successful company. Spent 5 years as the president and kind of the lead with Social Dealer. And for soon to be celebrating a year, I'm now the president and partner with the Dealer Alchemist family.
That is cool. You're one of those people that was just like, you were born into the business.
I was born into it.
I don't know if you really had an option. It was, but that's how it is, right? I mean, right. I find either people are born into the business or they stumbled their way in through a series of events, or like me, they got conned into it.
Right.
One of those three. So let's get into Dealer Alchemist real quick, because, sure. I think for everybody out there watching, listening, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that are familiar with the brand, but there's probably a lot that are not. What is kind of the problem that you guys set out to solve, and how you guys set out to solve it?
So that's a wonderful question. So my business partner, Sean, spent 22 years in retail. And, one of the challenges, and interestingly enough, Sean was a client of mine back when he was in retail. And one of the things that he discovered was the complexities of the auto industry and the challenges of the auto industry were far outweighing the solutions that were available. And, he's a self-taught guy. So everything within the dealership operations, he really learned on his own. But it wasn't just to learn it to be functional. He learned it to improve it. Yeah. So he gambled everything. He started Dealer Alchemist. And today we're one of the fastest growing companies in the space. What's different about us is we're an ad tech company. So you're familiar with the term fintech. Yep. Take that same application, but apply it to advertising. So we leverage technology, we leverage AI, we leverage proprietary systems to do the work of many. So what that allows us to do is to manage a larger number of accounts with less people, but the people we hire are at the top of their craft. So we're able to hire the best search analysts. We're able to hire the very best, pay-per-click players. We're able to hire some really great CTV and OTT individuals. So we're able to really get the cream of the crop, that top 1-2% of personnel in the market. But so much of the heavy lifting is done through technology, but it still requires the human touch.
Well, of course. I mean, look, the tools are only as good as how well someone uses them.
Correct.
And it's, I always kind of reference this. It's like baking a cake. Jeff, I could bake one, not necessarily guaranteed you'd like to eat it. But there's some others out there that do some amazing things with almost the same ingredients,
Absolutely.
right? And I think that, and right now I think that's such a relevant thing for dealers out there maybe watching, listening, is to find that right partner in that. I mean, the era of marketing that we're in right now have so many unique nuances to it. Everything from, website de-anonymization to the different types of data that we can have access to, and then also the creative that goes to it, and the death of the cookie. There's great opportunity, huge opportunity
Tremendous.
to make tremendous amount of efficiencies, but also you need a proper partner. So let's go through that. Like, how do you guys partner up with the dealership? What does that solution look like?
So it's a two-stage approach. Really, truth be told, it's a three-stage approach. So at the center of everything is our technology core, which is our ad tech platform. That's also coupled with our most recent acquisition. We announced it at NADA this year. We acquired AutoGo, which is one of the premier web platforms in the market. And then the last piece is just the human touch piece, which is so critical to the success of a retail automotive dealer, because you, Jason, know better than anybody that the same brand, even in the same markets, can be two different strategies, can be two different approaches. You can use all the same tools, you can go after the same types of omni-channel marketing, but not one shoe or not one sport coat fits every individual. There's got to be tweaks to it. So one of the things we really specialize in is getting to know the client, understanding what their needs and goals are, and whether they want to do volume, whether they want to do gross, whether they want to do a combination of both, whether they're trying to grow their fixed operations business, whether they want to go after special FI. Whatever it is about their business, we try to cater that solution to their individual needs and then give that the personal touch. Like myself and Sean, my business partner and CEO of the company, we're accessible. So we give every client our cell phone number. That doesn't always go well with my wife sometimes when I'm on the phone at 9 o'clock at night or 11 o'clock at night because I'm talking to a West Coast dealer. But we love it. We love being approachable. It gives them a sense of confidence. The biggest thing we hear is, what happens when you guys blow up and, I can't get a hold of you anymore. Well, that's going to be a good problem for both of us to have. But
I love the fact that I know you just in that kind of that personal touch, and the way I kind of translate out is that strategist, right? Like it's, I kind of break my marketing down to kind of three areas, right? I have my creative, my execution, my strategy, and probably now I'd add a fourth level now since everything's evolved so much to data, because it's become such an integral part of of the marketing strategy. But I admire that, man. A lot of people are not willing to go as far as to bring in that strategist element, and I think that says a lot about the company. You guys are willing to partner up on all levels of that marketing. Now I want to dive into a little bit about your session today, because I gotta be honest with you, I'm a people watcher. I like to watch people, and I like to watch body language and kind of pick up cues. And I will say there was definitely some body language on a few different points that you brought up. There wasn't a lot of cell phone staring down time. For everyone that didn't attend the event, and you should, all right, next year you must attend the Evolution Media Group event. It's awesome. But give us maybe 2 or 3 takeaways, that you felt was really important to share with others.
Well, the EMG folks, they couldn't be better people. They're wonderful through and through. One of my favorite partners to work with. And so this probably better than anybody. Really great partners make for a wonderful solution. You cannot be all things to all people.
Got to be a good dance partner, right?
Absolutely. And whether they're leading or you're leading, you want to make sure that the solutions that you're providing, the service you're providing, and back to your point around data. And I think one of the biggest takeaways was there's this misnomer that streaming can't be attributed. And actually quite the contrary. You can attribute streaming data all day long, and whether it's streaming audio or video or digital. So I think one of the biggest takeaways that I think a lot of the audience got is that there are key ways to be able to dissect that information and manage it, because one of the things the auto industry has is maybe a little bit of an ego problem.
No.
Yeah.
What are you talking about, Jeff?
Imagine that, right?
Come on, I'm number one in everything. Are you kidding me? I would love for someone to run a number 2 campaign, because who doesn't like a good number 2? But
what's Riggy Bobby say? If you ain't first, you're last.
That is very much so the automotive industry. Perfect analogy.
Absolutely. Yeah. So it really was very refreshing. The partners from Magnite, from Trade Desk, sitting there with Roku, sitting there with Samsung. I mean, these are literally some of the best and most cutting edge companies in the space. And again, can't say enough about Brett and Brian and the team. They host, as you saw, a wonderful event, and they're very thoughtful about the speakers that they put up there. They want to make sure that they're adding value. And for me, I if I've said it once, I've said it 100 times in my career. Ask yourself the question: are you just checking the box? Is that are you doing search? Yep. What's it doing for you? I don't know. Are you doing streaming? Yes. What's it doing for you? I'm not sure. And there's no shame in that.
I know, but it's no shame. But I think both me and you have been in this industry long enough to say maybe me and you can apply a little tough love here.
Absolutely.
Where it's like it's not okay. Let's just say it. We'll just come out and say it's not okay.
It's not okay.
We're all big boys and big girls here. We all right, yeah, we can take this seriously. We don't need to check out the proverbial box every single time. We can get real serious about it. And we've never had an opportunity to get, so granular in it. And it's just such an amazing.
It's incredible. It's a $25 billion a year addressable market. And what happened, and as you heard in my session, and for the folks on the podcast that weren't able to be privy to it, such a small portion of the automotive market is involved in OTT or involved in CTV or streaming solutions. So leading up to COVID,
I heard a stat recently, it's like less than 5% of dealerships are currently...
Less than 5% of retail automotive dealers are taking advantage. And again, most of them have just checked the box. It was suggested to them, it sounds like a good idea, but they can't really say what it's doing for them. And with technology being where it is today, and to your point, data, we can actually physically track the behavior of that consumer once a CTV ad has been delivered to them. We can see the video completion rate. We can see the activity post that video completion rate. We can see if they've gone to their smartphone or their tablet or to their desktop.
Multi-device. I think that's actually one of the coolest things. Not only just targeting the individual, I'm targeting the household and all of those connected devices in there, which I think I heard this recently that the average household now has over 9 connected devices inside the house.
Absolutely. And not just those devices, but what's interesting is that with technology where it is today, we can actually see inside the household. So we can understand the social media accounts attributed to that household. We can tell that there's a plethora of data, as you know, through PII and being able to understand people's affiliations and their likes. Better yet, with CTV today, you can deliver an ad to someone streaming their favorite show and then retarget them on an OTT device to reinforce the very thing that they've just seen. So now you've got them at a click-to-call component, or now you've got them to schedule a test drive or share or comment.
And I think that's one of the most important reasons why you really have to find a partner in this, right? This is not one ad makes it happen. All right, it is a storytelling over a series of different ad sizes, mediums, networks, you name it. I mean, but in the past that wasn't always so attainable, but it is very attainable right now. And I know companies like yours and others out there are beating the drum saying, look, you can do this with the budget you guys have. We're not asking you to go crazy here.
You can actually do it with a fraction of the budget that you once spent on linear television. And for the listeners, I want them to understand, we're not speaking negatively as it relates to traditional media. There is value in traditional media. So anyone out there who's involved in the traditional media world, hey, Jason and Jeff are trashing, you're fine. There is value. But if you're intelligent, you're taking a portion of that budget and you're allocating it to streaming. and you're touching your audience in ways, I asked the audience today, how many of you bought a car in the last couple of years? Several hands went up in the room. Maybe it's because we're all in the automotive industry and we just like to buy cars, but every vehicle you buy these days comes with streaming audio free for 6 months or a year, depending upon the manufacturer that you work with. So now you're hearing less of local radio.
Yes.
Almost everyone today, 60% of the market, I think it was talked about today, more than 60% of the market has completely cut the cord. So they exclusively have streaming. So now you really struggle to connect with that consumer if you're not talking with them through those mediums. And I think that's one of the things that, the automotive audience today thinks, how do I make a difference in my market? It's not always a matter of spending more money. It's really a matter of asking, hey, how much more can I get out of my marketing dollars?
Yes.
And if you've done streaming in the past and you were unimpressed by it, you simply had the wrong partner, because someone wasn't sitting down and taking the time to explain to you. Everyone in the automotive industry knows good, better, best. If you work with your media partner to say, hey, what's it take for me to have a presence in the market? Where am I going to be optimal? And at what point could I command the market? If you're anywhere between those 3 touch points and you have at least a 60 to 90 day run on it, you're going to see a very measurable lift in your business from consumers walking into the lot, engaging you in the store. And it is the new medium today. It's still kind of the Wild West with the lack of knowledge and just the multitude of players. I think,
but that's the opportunity, is it not? I mean, I remember,
absolutely.
Maybe I'm dating myself a little bit, but
Don't do that.
Don't do that. But I remember, first getting involved into Google AdWords, and I remember dominating the keyword Corvette for the entire southwestern part of the United States for 19 cents a click.
Oh, yeah.
And just this reminds me kind of that type of land grab that's going on now with the combination of data and attribution and audience development. It's like you can get some amazing results out there.
You can get some incredible results. The thing that one of the great takeaways, and again, if you follow EMG, the content that they put out is exceptional. It's really for educating the industry. But one of the things that people really need to know when it comes to streaming is that don't be focused on CPM. Don't focus on Brett said it really great today, right? Why are you focused on aligning what your stock shares are versus the value of the stock?
I know, I love that.
Right? So what? You've got 100,000 shares of a $4 stock. If the thing's losing 70%, it doesn't matter. I'd rather have a smaller stock portfolio that I'm getting a 200% return on or 150% return on. And that's really the kind of numbers that we're talking about when you think about streaming.
Yes.
The market opportunity is incredible.
It's absolutely huge. There were a couple strategies. Well, actually, there were a lot of strategies that you went over today. But for anybody out there watching, listening right now, and I know you talk to a lot of dealers because you put your phone number out there. All right. What is maybe one strategy you would recommend that they should go and execute right now in the next 30 days?
So there's really, my advice to a dealer would be take a small portion of your budget and classify it as experimental marketing.
Oh, like Mad Money.
Mad money.
Okay, I like it.
Look at it and push the envelope. Try something that you've never tried before. Chalk it up to the fact you're probably going to lose it. Like going to Vegas and sitting down at a craps table. There's a pretty good chance you're going to get a buzz and you're going to lose your money. Well,
you might hit it.
You might hit it, but what's interesting is when you hit something, you know it's yours and you don't have to tell anybody about it. And the very same principle can be applied to OTT. If you haven't done it, find the right partner, right? Reach out to us at DA. There's a number of really wonderful companies out there. Talk to your ad agency, have a conversation with them. But, ask yourself the $1 million question. Who am I buying OTT from? What are their qualifications? What is their experience? And where do they buy their media from? The other piece of advice I would leave the audience with is anytime there's money involved, anytime that there's revenue somewhere, there's a good chance there's going to be fraud. It happens in the crypto market. It happens in the credit card market. It happens everywhere.
We see some snake oil in this industry.
We see a lot of it. So ask the $1 million question, how do you deal with fraud? And the simplest statement, and this isn't mine, I give credit to Brett for this one, simply put, fraud does not convert. So if you're putting money into something and you're not seeing actionable activity, it's simple. Don't question why. Stop buying it.
Yeah.
Don't agonize over.
There's way too many great partners out there.
Yeah,
don't need to sweat it.
Don't agonize over that stuff. Listen, if it's not working, pull it. Show me what it's doing. And if your ad partner can't show you what it's doing, then you got the wrong ad partner.
Well said, Jeff. Well said. Hey, for everybody out there watching, listening right now, before I let you go, because I know we're at the tail end of this, for anybody that would love to connect with you, learn more about Dealer Alchemist, and just kind of follow along with your journey, what's the best way to do so?
So the best way to connect with me, it's really simple. It's jeff.clark@dealeralchemist.com. You can also go to the Dealer Alchemist website and request to speak with me. More than happy to sit down and take the time, educate you, give you some insights, tips, and tricks. And, my partners and I, really do love the automotive industry. It's born within us. We have a passion for it. And if we can help any of your followers, we would absolutely be honored to do that.
Love it, man. Thank you so much for taking the time to jam with me today.
My
For everybody
pleasure.
out there watching and listening, we appreciate you taking the time to check this out. Have a good one.
Thanks
Bye, y'all.
for tuning in to the Strategy with Jason podcast with your host, Jason Harris. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Happy podcasting.